Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 131 in the Gospel of John. We're going to go to a moment in history where we're going to go to the crossroads of human history and the crossroads of spiritual history. So we're in the last 24 hours of Jesus' life. We've finished the farewell discourse, which is basically John 14, 15, and 16. And today we're going to start chipping away at and noticing and being bathed in what's termed the high priestly prayer, which is all of John chapter 17. Now be aware of this. In John chapter 18, the arrest happens. So we're very quickly going to launch off here into the crucifixion. And in fact, today's passage says the hour has come. And that means it's a big deal. It's a big deal on our human calendar. Literally, this passage or this time period splits AD into BC into AD, and then it's a very important moment on God's calendar as well. So the ultimate moment in human history and the ultimate moment in spiritual history, they meet at the cross. So these are the last teaching of Christ before the arrest, so let's pay attention. This is John chapter 17, verse 1. When Jesus had spoken these words, he lifted up his eyes to heaven and said, Father, the hour has come. Glorify your Son, that your Son may glorify you, since you have given him authority over all flesh, to give eternal life to all that you have given him. And this is eternal life, that they know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom you have sent. I glorified you on earth, having accomplished the work that you gave me to do. And now, Father, glorify me in your own presence with the glory that I had with you before the world existed. All right, let me pause here and just capture this moment. So Jesus lifts his eyes and prays to the Father. The hour has come. So this is the big deal on our calendar, the big deal on his calendar, the ultimate moment in human history and spiritual history. It's going to meet here at the cross. All right, so Jesus says that he is glorifying himself. To glorify is a verb, means it means making the character and characteristics of Jesus known. And this is what happens best at the cross, as well as his whole life. So he is at work with the authority that is given him over all flesh to this end, to give eternal life to all that God gave him. And to who? People. So what is eternal life, you may ask? Well, he tells us this is eternal life, that you would know God, the Father, and Jesus, the Son. And as soon as the Spirit comes, I imagine him as well. So Jesus claims this accomplishment. There's nothing that Jesus set out to do that he did not do. There was nothing he tried that he did not accomplish. So finally, Jesus makes a prayer and a prediction that he will return to the glory that he had with the Father and Spirit before the world existed. So he had to, take off some of that glory for this rescue mission. He laid some of it aside, says in Philippians chapter 2, verse 6. Jesus, who, though he was in the form of God, did not count equality with God a thing to be grasped, but he emptied himself by taking the form of a servant, being born in the likeness of men. And being found in human form, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to the point of death, even death on a cross. All right, so let's go back to our passage in John chapter 17, where he says, and now in verse 6, I'm continuing, I have manifested your name to the people whom you gave me out of the world. Yours they were, and you gave them to me, and they have kept your word. Now they know that everything that you have given me is from you. For I have given them the words that you gave me, that they have received them and have come to know in truth that I came from you. And they have believed that you sent me. I am praying for them. I am not praying for the world, but for those whom you have given me, for they are yours. So Jesus says, I've displayed your name, I've revealed your character, I've manifested your work to those who you have given me. And it's an amazing thing if you take a step back at this intersection of spiritual history and human history. And at this moment, at the crossroads of spiritual and human history, in the most significant 24 hours, in the most significant week, in the most significant lifetime ever. So here we are, and we find that Jesus is on task, on station, dialed in, at going towards a good purpose, finishing his work, at one with the Father, praying for the knuckleheads because we're at our limit as well, giving eternal life and glorifying the Father and himself. That's what Jesus is up to in this passage. All we can do is just admire and worship. Lord, you did all that. Lord, you did all that when? At the right time, at the moment, at the crossroads of human and spiritual history. So if you have believed, brothers and sisters, take assurance that Jesus has accomplished, as he always does, this successful task that was given to him by the Father to the Son. He's given eternal life by the Son, which is that humans know God. So whatever work is necessary for your eternal life has been accomplished. Nobody got dropped in this process. And if you're not a believer and you're here today, then say yes, attach yourself by belief to this amazing grace and confirm that you are one of the chosen by professing that the Father sent the Son and the Son was sent for me to accomplish by all this suffering and horror of the next few chapters to care for me in this way that I couldn't care for myself. So this passage asks only of me, this is all it asks, believe that you sent me. So take heart, verse 9, you're not alone. I'm praying for them. You're not alone. You're not doing this in your power. So maybe start with my favorite spiritual prayer, which is, help me. Thank you for listening. Thanks for admiring Jesus today.